Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. The call came just after 11. I was cleaning up after a family dinner she skipped, her plate still wrapped in foil in the fridge, when her name lit the screen. What do you mean, babe? I'm on a girl's trip. I told you. No, I answered, steady. You didn't. She blew a breath into the mic. We talked about it. I packed this morning. You left before I got back from the office. No note. No text. No bag by the door last night. Which friends? Don't start. I'm tired. Names. Seriously? She paused, then threw it like a dart. Maybe I needed a break from you. I looked at the foil-wrapped plate, then at the calendar on the wall, her handwriting still on Saturday. Dinner with Dad. From me? I said. Or from the truth? Good night, Ryan. She hung up. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have brewed coffee instead of scrubbing that pan. It wasn't going to be a short week. I slept in the guest room. Habit shift number 1. No drama. Just distance. In the morning, I set 2 mugs on the counter out of reflex, then put 1 back. I checked our shared calendar again. No trip. I checked our joint email for flight confirmations. Nothing. I opened the family group chat. Her dad had texted a thumbs up about dinner 2 hours before she bailed. No reply from her. I dialed Trish, one of her 2 reliable friends. She answered on speaker, music in the background. Hey Ryan, everything okay? Is Lauren with you? She hesitated. Yeah. We're out. Out where? Why? Because she forgot to mention it to me. I'm trying to figure out if I need to feed her dad leftovers alone tonight, or if she actually planned something. Look, I'm kinda. What city, Trish? Palm Ridge. Spa place. I gotta run. The line went dead. Palm Ridge. Interesting choice. We hadn't been there in years. I put the phone down and wrote 3 bullets on a sticky note. No mention. No flight info. Friend evasive. When you set your life up to run on rails, calendar, accounts, routines, you notice when someone yanks the switch. I logged into our bank and looked at recent charges. A rideshare at 4:48 p.m. to the airport. A lounge charge 30 minutes later. 2 tickets on a discount airline, 1 seat, not 2. Then a hotel in Palm Ridge under her name. The coffee had gone cold. I poured it down the sink, rinsed the mug, and made a decision. I wasn't going to chase. I was going to document and reset. First reset, budgets. I moved our household funds to a separate account with bill pay I controlled. She still had her personal card, which she used mainly for clothes and lunches. I left it alone. Not punishment, clarity. Essentials continued. Extras? Not my problem. Second reset, access. I changed the home alarm guest code, texted her a new temporary code, and removed the garage keypad code we gave to her friends who dropped by unannounced. Reason: I didn't want surprise audience participation in my kitchen while I sorted this out. I texted her, "You missed dinner with your dad." I covered. Budget adjusted to essentials until we talk in person. Guest code updated. Let me know flight back so I can plan the week. She replied 20 minutes later. You're being controlling. No, I'm being organized. Which hotel? Stop interrogating me. I'm asking basic questions married adults answer without theatrics. Maybe I need space. You just got it. I put the phone face down and headed to work. On the way, I called Nate, friend since high school, runs a small shop where I keep my tools in a side bay for weekend projects. You sound like you swallowed a nail, man, he said. She's on a girl's trip, she forgot to mention. Palm Ridge. Forgot. Apparently. Want the bay today? I'm finishing a brake job. We can pretend bolts are problems and torque them to the floor. Yeah, I'll swing by at lunch. At the office, I blocked out my morning. I wasn't going to sit in a chair and refresh messages. I drafted a brief for a client, sent it, and scheduled a check-in with my boss. Carl, for Thursday. If this blew up, I wanted my week shielded. At 11, a message popped in from her. We got in late. Slept like a rock. Don't burn down the house. I typed. Who's on this trip? The typing dots appeared, then stopped, then started again. Then, Trish and a couple of her friends. You don't know them. Which spa? Why do you care? Because I handle our money and our plans. Girls' trip would have been fine if you'd said it yesterday. Not after you disappear. She went silent again. I could feel the new angle lining up. If she could frame my questions as control, she didn't have to answer them. Neat trick. I wasn't playing that game. At noon, I drove to Nate's. He was under a pickup, one arm reaching for a socket. Music hummed low from a speaker on the shelf. He rolled out when he heard my boots. "Let me guess," he said. "You pushed," she said. "Space." "Close." I asked for basic facts. She said I'm controlling. He wiped his hands on a rag. "Sounds like politics, not marriage. Sounds like a silent audition." "For what?" "For a life where she gets both, my stability and someone else's fireworks." Nate squinted at me. "You're always the quiet guy with the plan." "What's the plan?" "Separate the essential from the optional. No arguments. Move my schedule around, so I'm not available for random guilt trips. Then watch." "Watch what?" "Patterns. Errors." He grinned. "The Ryan method. I like this show." I took a breaker bar off the rack. "Let's torque something." We worked in silence. The rhythm helps. Bolts always tell the truth. An hour later, while I washed my hands, my phone buzzed. A photo from Lauren. 2 pool chairs, a slice of blue water, a magazine on a towel. Captions, "See? It's just girls." No faces. Just staged proof. I pinched the screen. The magazine had a date on the spine, last month's issue. Nothing incriminating, just sloppy. The metal railing in the background had a distinctive pattern, diamond cutouts. I remembered that from a work conference years ago. The Palm Ridge Resort had the same railings on their adult pool deck. I'd been there. I sent back a thumbs up. Then I texted Trish again. "Tell Lauren her dad asked what spa. I don't want to lie to him." She replied, "We're not lying." Name of the place, Trish. Palm Ridge Resort and Spa. "Thanks. And hey," she added, "we got in about noon, so she probably crashed early." I checked the bank charge. Rideshare at 4:48 p.m., lounge 20 minutes later, flight charge at 5:25. A noon arrival would require a time machine, or Trish trying to clean up someone else's story. I went back into the bay. First inconsistency, I told Nate. Already. Travel timeline doesn't match. Photo is generic. And she's allergic to sending actual names when asked. So what's next? House rules while she's gone. And I want to hear her say the names without choking. You going to call her out? Not yet. Tighten a few more bolts first. That night, I ate alone. I left her plate in the fridge. At 7, her dad called. He's an old school guy who talks like every call costs $1 a minute. "She okay?" he asked. "She's at the spa with friends. Forgot to tell me. I covered dinner." He grunted. Again. He coughed like static. "Never mind. Your mother-in-law thought she said something last week. Maybe I'm losing track. Did she tell you dates?" "Nope. You want me to call her?" "Don't. I'll handle it." After we hung up, I sat at the kitchen table, laid out a pad, and wrote rules. Not for her. Those tend to get twisted, but for me. 1. No debates over text. 2. No emergency pickups or last-minute errands while she's off-grid. 3. Social plans proceed without adjustments for her schedule. 4. When she returns, conversation happens in person, with time limits. At 9, she texted again. "You fed my dad?" "Yes." "Thank you. Which friends are there besides Trish?" She sent a heart, as if that answered anything. Then, "I'll call tomorrow. Don't make this weird." So the posture had shifted. Step 1, dismiss. Step 2, accuse, control. Step 3, sprinkle gratitude like sugar on cardboard. The next morning, I moved my gym time to 6, so I'd be gone when she usually called on her commute. I lined up my week. Tuesday late at the shop, Wednesday dinner with my sister, Thursday poker night. Not because I needed distractions, because empty space invites a certain kind of theater. At 10, my phone rang. Lauren. I let it go to voicemail. She left one. "Hey, I'm sorry for snapping. I was tired. I should have said something sooner. We were booking last minute, and it got crazy. Can we reset? I'll make it up to your dad." A soft landing. The first faux olive branch. I saved the voicemail and texted back. "I appreciate the apology. Let me know your flight details and hotel room number. We can discuss logistics when you're back Sunday at 6. She replied, "You're scheduling me?" "I'm scheduling me." "Fine. I'll text later." At lunch, I swung by the shop. Nate had a sandwich in one hand and his phone in the other. "You see this?" he asked, turning the screen. A mutual co-worker's story showed a boomerang clip from Palm Ridge, panning across a bar with that same diamond-cut railing. In the background, just for a second, a man lifted a glass, the corner of his face catching the light. The tag read, Mike's back in town. Who posted? I asked. Becca. She's out there for a conference. She dated a Mike in college. Might be a different guy. The clip reset. The angle cut short before any faces cleared. I went to Becca's profile. Public. She had a grid post from that afternoon. The same bar, different angle. In the comments, Lauren had left a heart. Trish had commented, girls weekend, and 3 sparkles. Becca had replied with a winky face. Scrolling, I found a photo from the hotel walkway. In a smudged reflection on a window. If you zoomed in and turned the brightness, 2 silhouettes. A woman with Lauren's jacket. A man with short dark hair and broad shoulders. The kind of image that's nothing on its own and everything in context. Mike, I said. Nate looked at me. You know him? Vaguely. Sales guy from a vendor. Ate lunch at our office once. Big talker. He and Lauren chatted about hiking for 10 minutes. I didn't think twice. You think? I think I'm done thinking vague. I took screenshots and saved them to a locked folder. Then I texted Becca. Hey, it's Ryan from Carl's team. Quick question. Are you at Palm Ridge for the conference? She replied 5 minutes later. Yep. Beautiful weather. Cool. Looks like a great spot. Is that the adult pool bar with the railings? Yep, haha. The diamond cutouts make it look fancy. Enjoy. If you see Lauren, tell her husband got her message. You guys both here? That's wild. Just her. Becca sent a shrug emoji. Well, it's a small world. At 2, my phone buzzed again. Lauren, you free to talk? In a meeting, I wrote. Text. I don't want to text. Then Sunday at 6. You're being difficult. Not at all. I'm being consistent. Silence. Then a photo landed. A hotel robe on a bed, a tray with tea. I'm taking care of myself, she wrote. Good, I answered. Me too. That evening, she tried the second tactic. Overcorrection. She FaceTimed me while I was at the shop with Nate. I answered and set the phone on a workbench. Hey, she sang. Look at you. My handsome guy in his cave. Nate lifted 2 fingers in a salute and wandered to the other bay. What's up? I asked. I've been thinking, she said. I've been rough. You're right. I should have told you. I want to fix it. When I get back, let's do steak night. Just us. No phones. That's a nice idea. And I bought you something, she added, reaching off screen, then pulling a gift bag into frame. You'll like it. I leaned back. Room number, Lauren. She blinked. Why do you need that? So I can pick you up if the hotel calls me to say you passed out at the pool. Basic emergency info. Don't be dramatic. That's not dramatic. That's adult. She pouted. You're ruining the vibe. Sunday at 6. I repeated. She exhaled. You're impossible sometimes. You're on a trip I heard about in a late call after a missed family dinner. If I'm impossible, it's your math. She narrowed her eyes. Maybe if you weren't so rigid. This is me being flexible. I'm not at your hotel asking questions at the bar. She stared at me for 3 seconds. Then the charm returned like a switch. Fine. Room 412. Happy. Closer. My flight's at noon. I'll be home by 3. I'll be home at 6. You're not picking me up? Nope. She forced a smile. Okay then. Enjoy your shop night. After the call, Nate wandered back. That face, he said, is the face my cousin makes when she wants to borrow a car she doesn't plan to return. I noticed. What's your next bolt? Kill the gray zones. Then check one more thing. What thing? Who Mike is to her. Specifically, Wednesday morning, I met my sister for dinner at our mom's favorite diner. My sister, Mara, is a nurse with a laugh like a hand clap and 0 patience for fog. She slid into the booth. You look like you slept on a checklist. Accurate. What happened? Lauren took an unannounced girls' trip. Palm Ridge. The timeline is wobbly. A coworker posted from the same bar. There's a guy in the edges. Name. Mike. Mara stirred her coffee. You want my big sister opinion? I want your clean cut. If I tell you stories from my floor, the patterns are the same. People who want 2 lives choose fog. Fog keeps them fed. I'm building a fan to clear it. Don't be theatrical, she said, smirking. I'm not. I'm methodical. What's your method? Collect facts. Make adult changes. When the picture is complete enough, move on it. Move how? Decisively. She nodded. Don't lose your edge and self-judgment, she said. People will call you cold for refusing to drown with them. I'm fine with cold. Warm hasn't worked. The waitress filled our waters. As she walked away, Mara leaned in. You'll know it when you see it? I think I'll know it before she sees I saw it. Back home, I opened a social tab and searched Palm Ridge Resort with a date filter. Photos poured in. I looked for angles that overlapped with Becca's bar. After 20 minutes, I found gold, a local photographer's public album from a corporate mixer at the hotel. In one shot, off to the side, there he was, Mike, laughing, glass raised. In another, he stood near the same diamond-cut railing with a woman half-cropped at the shoulder wearing Lauren's jacket. The caption tagged half a dozen people. One was Mike's full name. I clicked through to his profile. Public enough. Photos of mountain trails, a white dog, and a truck he probably calls by a name. Relationship status blank. Recent post from Palm Ridge, a sunset shot. In the reflection on the glass, if you know what to look for, 2 outlines. His hand on a shoulder. The outline of her bun. It wasn't proof that would convict in a courtroom, but I wasn't a courtroom. I was a man finishing a job. I took screenshots. Then I searched his name plus married. A few results down, a holiday photo showed him with a woman and a child at a pumpkin patch. The woman's profile was private, but her profile picture wasn't. I recognized her from a vendor mixer years ago. I remembered she'd told Lauren she liked her shoes. The caption on his Halloween post read, "Family time. Months old." I typed a short email to an attorney I'd spoken to once years ago about estate planning. Subject, consult. I attached the screenshots and wrote a factual paragraph about what I'd observed and the changes I'd made. No puff, no flame. I asked for a list of next steps if I decided to end this. I didn't say when. I didn't need to. I also found a business contact for Mike's wife. Her name was on a local volunteering page, and sent her a brief message. You don't know me. I'm Ryan. I have reason to believe your husband is at Palm Ridge this week. There may be overlap with my wife. I'm not asking you to reply. I'm sending this because you deserve clarity as much as I do. Screenshots attached. It wasn't a grenade. It was a light. People can do what they want in the dark. Not my business. But when that shadow crosses my kitchen, it becomes my business. At 10, Lauren texted, "Miss you today." I replied, "Sunday at 6. Can't we do sooner?" "No." "Why?" "Because I'm setting when I'm available, not when I'm convenient." She sent a sad face. Then, 2 minutes later, a new tone. "Fine. I booked us a couple's massage for next week." My treat. "No." "Why not?" "Because that's paint on a cracked wall." "You're impossible." I didn't reply. At 11, Becca messaged again out of the blue. "Saw your wife by the bar tonight," she wrote. She looked busy. "With Trish." Becca paused. "She wasn't with a girl when I walked by." "Thanks," I wrote. That's all I needed. I turned off my phone and slept in the guest room. Again, because habits build reality. You don't break fog with speeches. You break it with consistent, boring action. Thursday afternoon, I had my check-in with Carl. He's a big man with a buzz cut who believes in calendars more than religion. "You're early," he said when I stepped into his office. "I want to move 2 travel dates and hand off Friday's lunch to Tom," I told him. He arched an eyebrow. "Problem at home?" "Timeline is tight at home this weekend. I want the office locked down so it doesn't bleed." "You good?" "I'm not fragile." He leaned back. "You've been my cleanest operator for 6 years. You know I don't ask questions I don't need. You say you need space, you got space. Appreciate it." As I stood to go, he added, "Don't let anyone talk you into making this your fault." Not interested in that hobby. Back at my desk, I got an email from the attorney. Bullet pointed. Crisp. It included a draft of documents I could use if I chose to close this chapter, a list of assets to inventory, and a suggestion to consider logistics before emotions. My kind of language. I started a folder and filled it with the things that didn't care about feelings, titles, account lists, the mortgage statement. At 5, the neighbor, Mrs. Daly, waved me down as I took the trash out. "Tell Lauren I have her casserole dish," she called. "She's out of town until Sunday," I said. "Again?" she asked. "A word can be a hammer." "Again?" I answered neutral. "I'll text her." I did. She replied with a smiley and to tell her I'll stop by Monday. The pronoun slipped. Not, "I'll stop by," but "she'll stop by." Lauren was writing like someone who wasn't coming home to talk, but to perform. At 8, her second change arrived. Another FaceTime. This one honeyed to the point of sticky. I picked up, phone flat on the table. "I'm coming home early," she announced. Surprise. I moved my flight to tomorrow morning. I thought we could order from that place you like and watch something cozy. I miss you. That won't work for me, I said. Her eyelids fluttered like a signal. You're kidding. I have plans. With who? Nate. Then poker with the guys. You're choosing a poker night over me? I'm choosing the commitments I made over the ones you made for me. Ryan, she said, voice softening. I'm trying here. I hear that. We'll talk Sunday at 6. Don't be this way. This way is clear. Sunday. 6. She tilted her head. Are you punishing me? I shook mine. No. I'm just not handing you the steering wheel after you drove off without a map. She went still, then put her smile back on like a hat. Okay. See you Sunday, she said. Love you. Take care. When we hung up, Nate texted, Becca just posted another story. Mike by the fire pit. I watched it. There he was. A hand reached in from the left and slipped around his arm. The sleeve looked familiar. It was enough. Sunday at 5:30, I cleaned the kitchen, took out the trash, and placed an envelope on the console table by the door. The guest room had fresh sheets. Her side of the closet had been emptied, carefully, respectfully, into luggage placed near the hallway. I didn't toss, dump, or make a mess. I made it easy for her to meet reality without theater. At 5:58, I sat in the living room, a glass of water on the table, my phone face down. At 6:07, the door opened. She came in with a rolling suitcase and a practiced smile. Hey, she sang. Hey. She rolled the suitcase toward the bedroom out of habit, then noticed the guest room door open, suitcase lined up inside, her things stacked neat. Her smile trembled at the edges. What's this? Guest room, I said. For now. For now. She laughed like it was cute. Dramatic. Sit down. She stayed standing. You're being, you know what, no? I'm not doing this. I had a nice trip. I needed a reset. I missed you. And you're turning it into a tribunal. I asked you to sit, I repeated. She sat. She placed her phone face down and folded her hands. How was Palm Ridge? I asked. Nice. Which spa? The main one. Name it. You know I don't remember names like you do. Try. She rolled her eyes. Palm something. Who went with you? Trish. And a couple girls from her office. Names. She stared at me. Why does it matter? Because you didn't tell me you were going. Because you missed dinner with your dad. And because I want to hear you say real things. I told you. Trish invited me last minute. You told me after you left. I knew you'd make it weird if I asked permission. You don't need permission to have a weekend. You need respect to communicate one. She flinched. There it is, she said, pointing a finger like she'd found a prize. Control. The word you used to reframe my questions as offenses. She looked away, swallowed, then went with charm. I got you a gift, she said, pulling a bag from her purse. Open it. I didn't touch it. Nate's girlfriend hates that resort, I said. She says the adult pool railing looks like a cheese grater. What? The diamonds in the metal. Okay. Becca posted some stories this week. Small world. Her breath hitched. You're stalking people now? I'm paying attention. Ryan. How was Mike? I asked. The color left her face so cleanly, it was almost clinical. She didn't blink. She didn't fumble. She did math at lightning speed, building 3 potential stories, discarding 2, testing the 3rd on my expression. I don't know who you mean, she tried. Your hiking buddy from the vendor lunch. Broad shoulders. Sunset selfies. Likes the word grind more than a human should. You're ridiculous. I hope you and Mike like the views. That was the line that cracked it. She didn't just lose her smile. She lost her character. The woman who could turn any question into a fog machine looked for the switch under the chair and found an empty space. Ryan, she said quiet. Please. Please what? Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I did the work before you came home. What work? I nudged the envelope with a finger. That. She didn't touch it. We can fix this, she said. I can explain. No explanations. You don't even know what you think you know. Trish said you landed at noon on a flight that left here at 5:25. Becca's stories caught you at the bar that night with someone who wasn't a woman. Your girl's photo used last month's magazine. Your message about moving your flight early was an attempt to land on my terms after you realized you'd overplayed. Your dad thinks this isn't the first time. I am uninterested in the novel you're about to read me. She looked down at her hands. I made a mistake. You made a series of choices funded by my stability. That's not fair. It's precise. Can we, please, can we go to counseling? Counseling is for two people moving toward each other. You spent a week moving in two directions. I'm not here to applaud your cardio. She put a hand to her forehead like a bad actor. I can't believe you went through my money, Mai. I didn't touch your personal account. I moved household funds to ensure bills get paid because you like to make plans with my credit and call it self-care. I reformatted my life so your chaos doesn't become my calendar. She stood, then sat again. I was lonely, she said finally, looking up as if she'd discovered a magic word. Then say that before you start additions. Tears appeared like a fogged window. I'm sorry, she whispered. I believe you're sorry you got caught. I'm sorry I hurt you. You didn't hurt me. You insulted me. Two different things. One requires healing. The other requires decisions. She touched the envelope. What is this? Logistics. Guest room for the near term. Schedule for packing. Itemized list of essentials. The conversations with family I'll have so you don't get to spin this as me being controlling when what I'm doing is exiting your theater. You're leaving? I'm moving my life out of your fog. You can keep the comfort you fought to hold and the novelty you chased. You just won't hold them both with my name attached. She started to cry. I'll cut him off, she said. He's nothing. Then why did you hide him? She didn't answer. Does his wife know? I asked. Shock flashed across her face, a clean, sharp thing. You didn't. I sent her the same screenshots I sent my attorney. I said calm. No commentary. No demands. Just facts. She can choose her life without me as a prop. You're cruel. No. I'm courteous to strangers who deserve clarity. You ruined everything. I ruined nothing. I do the accounting. I close the books. She stood again, this time to pace, then realized pacing was a performance to an audience she no longer had. Saturday, what do you want me to do? She asked. I looked at the list on the envelope. Follow the logistics. Pack your personal items tonight. I'll be gone by Tuesday to a place I already lined up. We'll speak twice this week. Wednesday at 5 to handle the practical. Next Sunday at 6 to close what's left. No midnight calls. No drop-ins. No speeches. You can't just. I can. And I am. You're throwing away a marriage over something that didn't even. Careful. You're walking toward a word that will make me get up and end this now. She swallowed the word. She settled on. It wasn't what you think. It was exactly what I think. It was disrespect disguised as freedom, funded by my calendar and my wallet, and you expected me to suspect myself while you reset your eyeliner and texted hearts. You're being mean. I'm being final. She covered her face. I'm scared, she said. I'm not. Can we at least sleep in the same room tonight? No. Can I hug you? No. She laughed once, humorless. You're ice, she said. Now you're catching up. She opened the envelope finally. Her eyes scanned. You made a list of my things? So you don't have to talk to me about sweaters. That's cold. That's efficient. You already found a place? Yes. How long have you? Since Thursday. She sat back. Who are you? She whispered. The same man who built a life you enjoyed. I'm just not letting you enjoy it on both sides of the fence. She put the papers down slowly. What do I tell my parents? The truth. Or your version. I'll tell mine. And your dad will hear mine from me before he hears yours from you. That's manipulative, she snapped. It's clarity in the daylight. She wiped her face. I hate you. You don't. You hate that I'm not kneeling at the edge of your stage. You hate that the script stops where my respect starts. She stared at me a long time. You won't change your mind, she said. No. Even if I cut him off, change my number, block him, proof. I'm not a parole officer. I'm not interested in monitoring your compliance. She folded the papers and slid them back into the envelope. Fine, she said. Fine. Guest room's made. Bathroom cabinet has fresh towels. I'll be in the office. Can we talk later? You just did. I stood. She didn't move. I paused at the hallway, turned back, and said, Lauren, you built this. I'm just turning off the lights. Her shoulders sagged. I walked away. I didn't slam a door. I didn't grandstand. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and entered the inventory numbers. After a while, the house was quiet except for the sound of a suitcase zipper and drawers opening and closing. That was a sound I could live with. It sounded like doors opening instead of closing. 3 months later, I was living in a clean one-story place 15 minutes from my office, with a small yard that didn't demand weekends and a garage that was exactly the size you think you need, plus one shelf. I'd kept my truck and added a used motorcycle because the math worked and the joy matched the price. My mornings were simple. My evenings were mine. I'd rejoined a basketball league with guys my age who pretended their knees were new and laughed when they popped. I started seeing someone in July. Her name is Erin. She works with numbers, not feelings, and she respects calendars. She doesn't perform when hungry or need a stage to breathe. We take hikes on Sundays. We book them, we show up, we come home. It's not fireworks. It's a steady signal you can navigate by. Nate still texts me midweek memes that would get him fired if HR looked over his shoulder. He and I rebuilt an old workbench together in the shop and turned it into a clean slab of competence. Carl gave me a raise I didn't ask for. Mara tells me I look 10 years lighter, which is both a compliment and an indictment of the decade before. As for Lauren, I hear things. A neighbor mentioned she's renting a place near her friend's complex. She changed her hair. She posts less. I know Mike's wife left 2 polite sentences on his last public photo that said everything without saying much. People choose their paths. They live there. Sometimes, when I drive past Palm Ridge on my way to a client meeting, I see the outline of the place from the highway, the palm tops, the pale railings, the suggestion of blue beyond. I don't feel heat or regret. I don't feel longing. I appreciate the geometry. Diamond cutouts. Honest railings. Nothing to hide. And that's the thing I learned. You don't need to argue with someone who trains you to doubt your eyes. You make your moves in daylight and let them react to the sun. You don't punish. You don't perform. You set new hours. You cash out of their theater. When they call you cold, you nod, because cold keeps food fresh and tools sharp and men like me awake. Lauren once said she hated the feeling of being ordinary, that she wanted to feel seen. She built 2 lives to force that feeling. She kept the comfort on one side and the thrill on the other and expected me to stand still while she hopped the fence. What I gave her was not a fight. I gave her gravity. I let her fall on the side she chose. I left the other side neat, organized, stocked, and ready for the next guy. Me, who respects it. If I'd known where it was headed that first night, I would have brewed coffee instead of scrubbing the pan. But I know this. I left with my respect stacked and labeled like the boxes in Nate's shop. I left without yelling. I left with a line she'll remember every time she sees a sunset and a railing and a reflection that isn't hers alone. Hope you and Mike liked the views. I meant it. And then I closed the books. Thanks for watching. I'd be glad if you left a like and subscribed. It's very motivating. I'd also love to read your thoughts in the comments, letting you enjoy it on both sides of the fence. She put the papers down slowly. What do I tell my parents? The truth, or your version? I'll tell mine. And your dad will hear mine from me before he hears yours from you. That's manipulative, she snapped. It's clarity in the daylight. She wiped her face. I hate you. You don't. You hate that I'm not kneeling at the edge of your stage. You hate that the script stops where my respect starts. She stared at me a long time. You won't change your mind, she said. No. Even if I cut him off, change my number, block him, prove. I'm not a parole officer. I'm not interested in monitoring your compliance. She folded the papers and slid them back into the envelope. Fine, she said. Fine. Guest room's made. Bathroom cabinet has fresh towels. I'll be in the office. Can we talk later? You just did. I stood. She didn't move. I paused at the hallway, turned back, and said, Lauren, you built this. I'm just turning off the lights. Her shoulders sagged. I walked away. I didn't slam a door. I didn't grandstand. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and entered the inventory numbers. After a while, the house was quiet except for the sound of a suitcase zipper and drawers opening and closing. That was a sound I could live with. It sounded like doors opening instead of closing. 3 months later, I was living in a clean one-story place 15 minutes from my office, with a small yard that didn't demand weekends and a garage that was exactly the size you think you need, plus one shelf. I'd kept my truck and added a used motorcycle because the math worked and the joy matched the price. My mornings were simple. My evenings were mine. I'd rejoined a basketball league with guys my age who pretended their knees were new and laughed when they popped. I started seeing someone in July. Her name is Erin. She works with numbers, not feelings, and she respects calendars. She doesn't perform when hungry or need a stage to breathe. We take hikes on Sundays. We book them, we show up, we come home. It's not fireworks. It's a steady signal you can navigate by. Nate still texts me midweek memes that would get him fired if HR looked over his shoulder. He and I rebuilt an old workbench together in the shop and turned it into a clean slab of competence. Carl gave me a raise I didn't ask for. Mara tells me I look 10 years lighter, which is both a compliment and an indictment of the decade before. As for Lauren, I hear things. A neighbor mentioned she's renting a place near her friend's complex. She changed her hair. She posts less. I know Mike's wife left 2 polite sentences on his last public photo that said everything without saying much. People choose their paths. They live there. Sometimes, when I drive past Palm Ridge on my way to a client meeting, I see the outline of the place from the highway, the palm tops, the pale railings, the suggestion of blue beyond. I don't feel heat or regret. I don't feel longing. I appreciate the geometry. Diamond cutouts. Honest railings. Nothing to hide. And that's the thing I learned. You don't need to argue with someone who trains you to doubt your eyes. You make your moves in daylight and let them react to the sun. You don't punish. You don't perform. You set new hours. You cash out of their theater. When they call you cold, you nod, because cold keeps food fresh and tools sharp and men like me awake. Lauren once said she hated the feeling of being ordinary, that she wanted to feel seen. She built 2 lives to force that feeling. She kept the comfort on one side and the thrill on the other and expected me to stand still while she hopped the fence. What I gave her was not a fight. I gave her gravity. I let her fall on the side she chose. I left the other side neat, organized, stocked, and ready for the next guy. Me, who respects it. If I'd known where it was headed that first night, I would have brewed coffee instead of scrubbing the pan. But I know this. I left with my respect stacked and labeled like the boxes in Nate's shop. I left without yelling. I left with a line she'll remember every time she sees a sunset and a railing and a reflection that isn't hers alone. Hope you and Mike like the views. I meant it. And then I closed the books. Thanks for watching. I'd be glad if you left a like and